I did, don't want to make a habit of it. I hadn't had to do many of these, coming off a loss opener. So, yeah, I got to do a little bit better job, I think, a lot better job of getting ourselves ready to play. It's two openers, that we've lost and we made a lot of mistakes in that we can overcome. So I got to do a little bit better job, whether it be fall camp or whatever, getting us mentally ready to play. I think any comments I make would not be to discredit Southeastern Louisiana. They're a really good football team, and I probably did not do a great job of. And I told our team that yesterday. I didn't do a great job of expressing how good a football team they had. They got 9 or 10 starters back on offense off a good, offensive team last year. Got a lot of speed everywhere. So they played really well. I thought they had a good game plan. They took it to us from the opening snap, hit us in the mouth, and it just carried over, throughout the game. So I got to do a better job of getting ourselves ready to play. And I don't want to say we overlooked the game. You can't put your finger on one thing or another. Playing on Thursday, you had a lot of time to think about it before now. You definitely got to get this one behind us, and that's kind of what we're concentrating on now. We've gotten this film behind us. We're moving on to Chattanooga. But, when you got a winning culture like we do, some of the things we talked about yesterday is a certain way that you approach games and you concentrate on how you play. And, we've been able to do that, really well in the past. And we've won games a lot of different ways. We've won a lot of close games. I think everybody's gotten the mindset of, hey, we just blow everybody out. And it kind of filters over in our players. We don't, and so I told them after the game, we're not going to show up in anybody just lay over for us, let us win. People are well coached. They have really good football players. You got to show up and win the game. And we've won our share of close games around here. And by not turning the ball over and creating turnovers and having great energy and all those things. But I went by and dug in the archives, and I rarely ever do this. I dug back from 5.5, 6 years ago, to our first win as a head coach that I had against Chattanooga. We had 9 penalties for 111 yards, I think. We had 2 interception pick sixes for touchdowns, and we overcame it. So there's a certain thing with every team that the will to win, and no matter what happens in a game, what kind of adversity you face, whether it's going good and you're up in a game and somebody comes back and you got to hold them off, or you get down 2 or 3 scores and you got to dig yourself out of a hole. But there's a response there when good or bad happens, and it's kind of like life. That's the reason I love this game. I think everybody loves to watch it. I think this time of year everybody kind of wants to see what their team's about, and that's that will to win. And there's a lot of teams across the country that won openers yesterday that's going to finish the season really bad. I don't know which ones they are. Everybody's waiting to see. There's teams that, like us, they played really poorly in their first game and they didn't overcome, but they're going to finish strong. And there's a flip side of both of those. So one game don't identify this team and don't leave the legacy for this team. So luckily we got another game. It was our first game. It wasn't our last game. So we talked about that a lot yesterday as a team. Our team will respond. And they'll respond in a good way. I got a lot of faith in these guys because we got good people in our building. And like I said, we had a bad night. We didn't respond very well. Now, going into the game, we did some things really well. Zack played a career game for him. He played really lights out. He played good football. Jamari played really well. Probably, he's been consistent, very, very consistent. He was consistent in that game, and there's a reason for that. Both of these guys, I don't know if they missed a fall practice. They're consistent practice-wise. They bring it every day in practice, and that's the reason the result was that. And they're a great example to our team in the way they carry themselves and the way they practice. And they'll come out there today and this week and prepare the same way. I got utmost confidence in them. But like I said, just moving forward, get that behind us. We're definitely ready to move on and learn from our mistakes and grow from our good things that we did, and then get ready for a good Chattanooga team. It's this 1-0. They're 1-0, and they've been kind of subpar for them the last couple of years. So I think them new staff coming in, bringing a different energy and starting off the year 1-0, they'll be ready. And I am glad that we're playing at home and we don't have a 6.5-hour bus ride and a 6.5-hour bus ride coming back. So I sure am glad we played on Thursday because it would have been really tough getting ready for this if you got home at daylight on Sunday morning. So like I said, it's going to be a really good football game. I know our fans will be ready and we'll be ready. So it'll be a classic.
For both the players, Jamari and Zack, could you talk about how you guys and the guys you've talked to, how you respond like this week against Chattanooga?
This week against Chat, I know these guys are coming in with basically a revenge type feeling against us because it's been a long time since they've been able to beat us. And I know since as long as I've been here, we've been on top of them. And I know that my guys, and we got to come in this week and be able to just come back from last week and be able to build from what happened last week and just fix our mistakes.
Well, on the defensive side, it's just like we're just gonna come back and just try to learn from where our mistakes at and just get better and just try to do better. Like no one's just like we're all gonna play for one, all 11 to the ball, and just try to not forget the game, but like still learn from it, but just like let it go and not like try to hold on to it. Because if you try to hold on to it for too long, like it can't hurt you the next game.
John, in terms of the issues you guys had on the offensive line, how much was it blown assignments and how much was it inexperience?
I think a little bit of both. There was times that we gave up sacks that we didn't get a hat on hat. We didn't have good eye discipline for as the twist and the stunt and didn't pick it up. And, get a hat on hat offensively in trouble. So we got to correct some of those things, and some of that is due to inexperience. Those guys are going to get better. We got a guy, snapping the football that had never snapped the ball in a game, and some guys up here that haven't played, and I know they don't want me to sit here and make excuses for them. They're going to get better, and they're going to find a way to get better. So, we'll compete there and look to get better. There were some issues there that was both of those reasons.
Will we see the changes along the offensive line?
Well, so I told them yesterday every job's open. We'll see how practice goes this week. So we'll see who hangs on to their job and who competes and who gets better.
When was the last time you had a team not rush for 100 yards?
Been a long time. I don't know. I'd have to look back at stats. So usually we do that. And when we look, you take the sacks out. We rushed for like 115. I think we had 48 or 58 yards in negative yardage from the sacks. So you look at the average per carry, it's a little misleading when you look at the stat line without the sacks. So when we did run the football, we were effective. I think we ran it 24 times for 115 outside the minus for the sacks. And you just got in a situation that game where you're down 2 and 3 scores, you had to throw football. We don't design to go out there and want to throw it 52 times. Now, we can go out there and throw it 52 times if we need to, and I think be successful. But we don't directly look to do that in the game plan.
Ideally, what would you say is a good number of times you'd want to throw the ball in a game?
I don't know how many times we snap it, which every game's a little bit different. We want to be this year's team's going to be a little different. Probably going to be a 50-50 deal. So if you snap it 80 times, you're going to look at running it, 35, 40 times. So somewhere between that 30 and 40, 45 times a game. And we got to 24 the other night, So like I said, it was a little bit misleading. But, like I said, we had to snap it a bunch, snap it fast because we were behind and having to throw the football.
Coach, could you talk about Zack? It seemed like he gave the type of performance Thursday that I guess we saw a lot last year, but not quite as much as he wasn't playing as much.
Well, I just he came along really, really well last year, and played some games and was productive, and you was waiting for him just to be the guy, and he brings it like that every day in practice. So he's a very instinctive player, very disciplined player. He always fits the gap that he's supposed to, and he does it in a physical way. And he's a good tackler. He tackles, gets the ball on the ground, and everything you want from a linebacker, he is. And it's, he's young in his career, and just hope he continues using those same values and progressing. And as you can tell, he's a very humble guy too. So, like I said, he's going to get better and better.
Zack, what do you feel like you learned in Thursday's game?
The biggest thing I learned is just like, even though I had a career game, it doesn't matter because it's like we lost. Like at the end of the day, those 10 tackles didn't help. Like it's a good game for me, but it's like I would have rather us won. I would have rather had a low amount of tackles and us win than have a high and then us lose, because the team is more important than how I perform, like overall my individual stats like that. But I also learned is that you just gotta make the big plays, and I like even though I had 10 tackles, it was many big plays I didn't make, and that I know I could have, and that probably could have helped the team win. So it's like you gotta go back and just watch the film and just try to get better at the plays I didn't make.
I know during the game you're thinking about what's in front of you. I imagine the last thing on your mind is your tackle total.
Yeah.
At the end, did you see 10 tackles?
Actually, we was on the bus and someone was like, "You had 10 tackles," and I was like, "Oh, wow!" Like I didn't even know, because it's like you said, you're like during the game, you're not studying how many tackles, you're just playing, you're just like trying to make a play. But then it's like after the game, when someone was like, "You had 10 tackles," I was like, "Dang, I didn't know I had 10 tackles."